Welcome to another Rosie, your realtor show. And today we got Randy with Swan Financial. Hi, Randy.
Hello, how are you, Rosie?
I'm great. Thank you for joining me this morning. Thank you. Thank you. Randy, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I've been doing loans for about 24 years. I own Swan Financial. We are a broker, which I
Okay.
think sets us apart. We have all types of options for our clients, and also is the reason why I feel like we're the best option for a consumer. It is the national average is if you use a broker over a bank or a captive lender, you save $9,423 a deal. And the reason that is sincerely is a broker just does not make as much money on most transactions as a bank or a captive lender. So it's put us in a great spot. We could be a lender, but we have decided to keep ourselves where we stay very competitive and give our clients the best options.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I know I've always been a big advocate that, if when you go to a bank, it's like going to Honda or Toyota and you're limited to that one product, right?
Right.
Going to a broker, you have access to all the products. And really, I mean, everybody's situation is different, right? That you really don't know what program's going to be best for them until you really collect all their data and run their credit and
Right.
so forth. So I can attest to that. That definitely using a broker is
Yes.
a great choice. Perfect. So Randy, tell me why someone should use you over another broker.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact of our service and our expertise with us being in business now. We've been in business 21 years. We have several Google reviews, and we're at 4.8 stars in Louisville, and in the Clarksville, Bowling Green area, we're 5-star reviews, and we have somewhere around, I think, 60 reviews. So, and a couple of things that set us apart is we are 7 days a week. And we also give our clients options, and I'll give my NMLS number 26362. For example, right now, you can get a rate in the fours. And as I sent to you, Rosie, I sent you three different options on buy downs, and it's amazing since our company started focusing on this. Okay, here's a buy down, here's one without a buy down, and here's one that might give you a little credit towards your closing cost. How many people are using the buy down? And you used to, and I just don't think a lot of our competitors go that deep to give our clients two or three different options. I don't think we overwhelm you. I think
Yeah.
what we do is keep it very clean and do everything we can to try to explain it by sending you a loan estimate over and going over, if we have to, line item by line item. Hey, here's the cost of closing this purchase or refinance.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I agree. I did appreciate you sending those, so thank you. And I don't necessarily think it's overwhelming, right? Because some people are sometimes
Right.
shopping a very specific monthly payment, or they just, you know, want whatever deal is going to be best long term if they're going to stay in the home a long time, or everybody's situation is different. So giving them that option, if they're only going to be in it a few years, maybe they want just a lower payment. But perfect. So
And also, this is what's great about an agent like yourself is the consumer sometimes says, okay, here's the deal. Like you just said, I want to stay in this certain payment range, but I
yeah,
want this house at, let's say it's 300,000, and they want a payment that's tough to get there at 300,000. Then what they might do is say, okay, we're going to get more seller contributions to buy down the rate more so they can get in that payment they want, or sometimes they don't. So that's the great thing about working with a professional like you is once we understand exactly what the client wants, how long they're going to stay in the house, all the above, then we have a game plan we put together before, which you just talked about before we started today. Hey, you want a pre-approval before you go show someone a house, so they have the expectations of, hey, this is
absolutely.
what this is going to cost, and kind of go through, hey, here's what you're going to deal with through the whole real estate process. So together we do that, and it's it puts the customer in a situation where they feel very uncomfortable with the biggest transaction of their life, number one.
Absolutely.
And also in a situation where if you go on Google, there's so many different answers they get on a specific questions that's asked about real estate, about mortgages, where then they come to what I consider us as experts in this field, and we got them down the right path. And um, by the repeat business we get and all the above, obviously it's working.
Yeah, that repeat business definitely is a testament.
Yes,
Absolutely.
no
Well,
doubt.
perfect. Yeah, I had a comment and I forgot. I was like, oh, I wanted to comment on something. Oh, I know what I was gonna say is, and really working with your partners, because I remember when rates were starting to go up, 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 up.
Yeah,
I know they're,
yeah,
they're slightly coming down again, but they're going up. Even if I have someone qualified, I won't write an offer until I've connected with the lender. Hey, okay, let's make sure that if, at this price, what's today's rate because you got qualified a month or whatever the circumstance, make sure they're still comfortable with that. Because I've heard of, deals here in our office where someone, they get an offer, the client's pre-approved, that letter is submitted, and then, they get with the lender to rerun numbers and it's like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. So it's not just about getting them qualified, is making sure we're working with our partners throughout the process so that when we do write that offer, it's going to stick and we're not wasting anybody's time, let alone getting people's hopes up. Because that's one of the worst things when we fail, right? We show them the house, they fall in love, it's within that price range that they were qualified, but rates change, and now it really changes their
that's
situation.
right.
So
That's right. And really sincerely, the consumer, who likes to do a budget? Not many people. Who likes to do, hey, this is what my payment on. Mortgages are boring. They really are. But with that being said, what's fun about it is what you just commented on. And one thing really want to emphasize, the market is still not hot again. So
yeah,
here's why I feel like if I'm a consumer right now, I cannot emphasize enough buy. Buy. And Rosie, as you well know, and I'd like you to comment on this, at the beginning of COVID, 20 on a $350,000 house, 20, 30, 40, 50 offers within 48 hours sometimes. Do you agree with that? If it was a nice home, there were 20
price
to
range.
40. Yeah, there were 20
It
to
was
40
very competitive
offers.
still.
Oh,
Well, especially when COVID hit, while we were on a lockdown, there were so many people that went virtual, right? The kids were learning
right,
virtually. The parents are now working from home, and the homes just didn't accommodate that, right? That was definitely something new to
right.
not just our country, but our world. Even today, my husband still works 100% from home. And so now we need that extra room for him that he could lock, be away from the rest of the house. And that was definitely what do you call a paradigm change to our country, the
Yeah,
world, like I said. But yeah, COVID definitely did not slow real estate down. One of the things I did different is I immediately started doing, virtual tours, because what we could do was limited, but the market definitely did not slow down. I mean, there was such a need for changes in people's home needs. Um, somebody maybe renting an apartment, now they really needed a home because they needed that room. So
right.
yeah,
So let's dive in because people March of 2021 rates started going up. They're in the twos, and then let's fast
yeah,
forward August of 2024. Um, you've had 2 years where rates went to the mid sevens. Now they're in, depending on what you do as far as product and all the above, between the high fives and sixes. You can get in the fours in certain situations with certain buy downs. But here is what's happened. Inventory's been very low. It's a simple supply and demand. So right now we only have about 30% of the housing we need. Here is the other scenario. The pent up demand in the market is insane. So the housing market took a huge hit in 20. I mean, it's been very tough in 2022, 2023, and it's in 2024. We're moving through as well, but there will be a spike again. Uh, you know, And what people keep saying is, hey, I'm going to wait for rates to drop. Well, there's a couple of things we can do with this. You know, with that being said, if you wait till a rate drop, I sincerely believe that, people are like, oh my gosh, the housing market is insane. It's gone
Right.
up in 4 years, it's gone up 46% nationally. The
A
appreciation
lot.
on a house is 46%. Oh, a lot. But here's the thing. I don't think they've seen anything. We've seen anything yet. And that's the thing, because simply what we learned in school, if there's only one restaurant in town, literally in Clarksville, Tennessee, I mean, that
Yeah.
restaurant's going to be able to charge what it wants and really not maybe give. So the same analogy I'm using with housing. If you only have 30% of the housing you need, it's going to be a long time before we
Yeah.
catch up to the supply for the demand. But why did it slow down? Only one reason. Rates went skyrocketed very quickly, went up
Yeah.
literally 5 points in 4.5 points in a year. And
A lot.
people just said, yeah, it's a lot. And people said, okay, so what you just talked about with you and your husband. Here's somebody sitting on a house. They have a 3 bedroom house. They want to move, or a 2 bedroom house. They want to move to a 4 bedroom. Somebody's working from home. The problem is when they have a 2.75 rate and they have a payment of 1700 $1,700, and then they move up that 2 bedrooms, then they move into a $3,000 payment. It's been very difficult to swallow.
Yeah.
But the fact that they have
Absolutely.
so much equity, yeah, they have so much equity, they're going to be able to move. Now, some of them are going to keep the houses and rent them, which even is worse for supply and demand. But because they have such a low interest rate, they just rent them out. And I cannot emphasize it high enough now, because if rates truly drop the way they say they're going to drop, in the next year, the Feds are going to come out with short-term rates are going to drop a quarter to half a point in September 2024. But if they truly drop, the pent-up demand is going to be insane, and I think it's going to skyrocket housing, and I think we're going to be back in to 10, 20, 30 offers. So I cannot emphasize enough. I would buy now.
Yeah, well, what is it they say? Marry the house, date the interest rate, right?
Yeah, yeah,
If
because I can
houses go
always
up, you can't.
exactly.
It's a lot harder to change your house than it is just the rate. And I also hope people, unfortunately, those that got to live through that 2.5, yes, it was wonderful, but there's a chance we may never see that again. And what people don't
No,
realize is when you look at the net,
no.
the average over recorded history, we're still under average. We're still under that 8%. I
Oh
had
yeah.
recently a
Oh yeah.
client that he told me, I think it was, I don't know if it was his first house, older gentleman. He had a 17% interest rate. So,
That's right.
his current home, obviously it's like very, very low. He's one of those threes, but when we were looking at homes recently, now they're, it's doubled than what his current home is, but he's been around long enough that he remembers those double digits. And hopefully we never get to double digits, but we also may never get to that 2-3%. We don't know. But
Uh,
again, it's
right.
always, especially for someone that you're going to live in it, it's your primary resident. It is always better to just buy now based on your need and not try to time the market. We wouldn't do that with milk, our groceries. We're not timing it. Oh, I'm not buying food this week. No, and the same should be with the home. If you need a home, you buy a home. Interest rates high, well then you refinance. But you get into that home and start paying down your principal, not somebody else's.
So that's interesting you mentioned that. So excuse me. August of 2023, I financed a guy and I'm refinancing. And
Yeah,
he said it's the best thing ever. My house has gone up 6%, and it's so the point is, it's like you said on interest rate. Trust me, I always want to refinance you. It's what I do for my living. So we can always take your rate down. But and you make a great point there. So let's say you wait, you just keep waiting for that interest rate. Well, then you start getting 20, 30 offers on a house. Then that house, and we know this in COVID, this is factual.
yeah,
That house that should have gone for 250 was going for 290, 300. And I think we could get back to that, which is why, but if you already bought that house, then just refinance. Yes, can it cost you a little money? I can do no money where it doesn't cost you anything, but the rate would be a little higher. But if it costs a little money and we just roll it into the loan, we can do that as well. So there's several options. But worst case scenario is going to cost you, $2,000-3,000 to refinance that house in most situations, and as little as zero. Um, um, so that is what I think we're on the same page there, and people that are in, that have done this for a while understand there's no better time than right now than to buy than right now. And if you go back through history, I can guarantee you a lot of people that are listening to this, they will say, man, if I would have bought that house then, or if I'd have bought that commercial property, or if I'd have bought whatever, my gosh, look how much equity I would have. Well, it's just not going to go down. I mean, because again, it's simple supply and demand. If we were in the
Absolutely.
2007, yeah, if we were in 2007, 2008, there was a ton of houses on the market, and that's exactly why they dropped. It was now Florida is seeing a little bit of a drop in a few small areas, like 8 to 10% in certain little markets, very segmented. But daggone, Florida's gone up 100, 150% in the last 5 years, 4 years. So it's correcting a little bit, and that'll be about it. But again, it's very segmented, and I think it's in certain parts of the Fort Myers area, they've seen a little bit of drop, but that'll all flatten out as well. But most of Florida is still doing great.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Well, Randy, it has been wonderful. Tell me if somebody was looking for a loan and wanted to contact you directly, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yes, you can call or text me 502-645-0736.
Awesome, awesome. And his number is right there on the screen, that 502-645-0736. And I know that I can also attest that Randy has been very responsive when I've needed you. You're very much on
Well,
it.
thank
And
you.
when you say 7 days a week, I know I've been one of those weekend people, and you've always been great, whether, immediately getting on it or saying, hey, is this something that, I can call you in an hour, or do I not to stop what I'm
Right.
doing? And let me tell you, I appreciate that. And well, I'm not normally going to tell you drop everything from me or yes in our words. That's wonderful, because as the market changes, you never know when you need that. Like, I need you to drop everything now, and I've had to do that for my clients. And there's times where it's like, no, we could take our time. So definitely appreciate that. You and your services, your team. I know you've all been wonderful to get to know and work with. So thank you, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Rosie. Thanks for your expertise in the market as well. I appreciate working with you. You take
You as
care.
well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.
Okay.